Yeah, I think for me, from coming from absolutely having no about what coaching is all about, to now coming to a stage where, yes, I do feel confident and even excited, even to look forward to coaching somebody, listen to them. And also, I think through the process, obviously through the training, and you've really drilled into us that it's like, you're not a solution provider, or you're not supposed to be, making sense of all the things that the client brings. So that has been liberating, whereby you are there to just, and I like the analogy you always give, that you're just providing them a room to organize their thinking. So I think that for me has been extremely liberating. And so at the end of a 20-week course, I feel it's still work in progress, but I have learned to now balance on that cycle, like, ride on the cycle and fall, ride on the cycle and fall, having fallen multiple times. I think I've got a balance of so now I have to still test on the roads and the swift turns, and I don't know whether I can go mountain biking yet, but I can balance now. So yeah, that's where I am. Yeah, for me, just having those 20 weeks spent on yourself, I mean, I know my friends from the cohort would hate it, but I really love the assignments as well, as much as I loved our conversations during the training. I love the peer coaching, the practice. And yes, it has been so obviously when you spend so much time on yourself and do so much work upon yourself, you ought to come changed and evolved. And that's a permanent thing, I think. So and a positive one at that. So I really feel that, yes, it's been a very, very important investment in my own development as a human being, and the way I my day-to-day life, as well as, of course, the progress in the coaching journey itself. Okay, for me, that has been my favorite part of the journey. And, like I said, being able to spend that much time upon yourself and through these ontological conversations really helped me tie those loose ends that I had in my mind about myself, or probably I was just the blind spots that I hadn't paid attention to. So as an individual, I think I benefited a lot from these ontological conversations. They have set me up on a path of continuous exploration of self. So I was on a path of continuous exploration of the world and, like, what's happening in the world and around it, and people even. But of self, I think it has just set me up in an ongoing, continuous path of learning and quest.
Yeah.
And throughout the classes, you have drilled into and stressed upon coaching the who of the client, not just focusing on the what. And again, through the explorations and through just kind of the training that you have given, I realized that I was very much focused on the what. So if I compare my earlier conversations with peers, I realized that it was, okay, this is your agenda, let's get it sorted. And then, okay, this is what you're looking for. And then, because I'm a very result oriented person, I delivered on the result. They went off very, very happy. But again, I'm reminded now in the next half of my peer coaching sessions, I always remember you saying, okay, is the conversation useful or powerful? And I think, so I wouldn't say I'm there yet, but at least I've become aware of the, focusing on the who and the being of the person, and what they are bringing. Like when we ask them what's meaningful, why this is meaningful to you, what does it speak of them as a person, and what are they looking for as there? So I think I've become more aware of it. And I think the competencies wise, the CC2 is about the being of the coach, the CC1 and 2. And I think ontology fits right in there. And I think your course is woven the competencies and the ontological inquiries and conversations very, very beautifully and organically. So without realizing, we have just kind of absorbed those skills. I think I'm still on a shaky ground as far as the practice is concerned, but it's just about the practice again. So I'm pretty sure. So after when I reevaluate my conversations, I realize, oh, this was not, so I can figure out like, okay, this is where I can improve. So I think even from a course correction standpoint and self-development standpoint, I think this course has given the autonomy of learning, to the learner. So I think it's more like self-driven, self-directed. I can sense that I can do that. I think, yes, every aspect of life. So I would say, again, it's about how you show up, right? So those conversations, those inquiries, those assignments that I have worked upon myself, I think it's somewhere at the back of your mind that, how are you showing up as, and how do you want to show up as? Do you want to show up this way? So I think it's there. So it's in my day-to-day relationships, in interactions, even with strangers, of course, with the near and dear ones, with myself. It's impacting everywhere to an extent, I would say, and especially because I have interacted. I have a lot of friends who are corporate leaders, and I think this course, like, even if like it's not for coaching purposes, you just put aside the CC3s, I mean the competencies, and just do the ontological conversations. I think it should be a must for all the leaders. I feel the reflections, the assignments are an integral part of the course. So I can't look at them separately, or I can't look at just the course separately without the reflections. And I can say that for sure, because there was a couple of weeks when I was away and I couldn't attend the course or the class, and I lagged behind on those reflections, and I tried to catch them up a little later. And I saw that the reflections, that I attended to immediately after the session, before the next session, really brought in very powerful insights, and it was a great, in fact, the class was a great segue into, where you were for your, on your journey towards self-discovery, and as an individual, as a coach. I think it's a very, very in-depth course at the foundation level itself. So for someone like me who really wants to get it straight, is ready to invest in the time, in terms of time and effort, into something you feel passionately about, I think your passion rubs off, Dreyvan, as an ontological, someone who's very passionate about ontology and coaching both. Your passion has rubbed off, and B, it has given a lot of depth. So I would highly recommend, if someone was supposed to ask me between coaching sessions, I would definitely recommend ontology versus a non-ontology for a person who is ready for that kind of exploration. I would also recommend, even if there is no coaching candidate, but if there was an ontology course on offer, again, I would say I would recommend it to all the professionals and even anyone actually. As a trainer, the trainer was extremely passionate about both the ontology part of it as well as the coaching part of it, and was also extremely passionate about the learning of the learners. So it was, and extremely generous also. So generous with time, with guiding. I mean, you never, whether it be a mentoring session or a class where we could be asking the silliest of questions, but you never made us feel that it was like a silly question, and then because you entertained one question, the other flew, and so I think you brought in your coaching capability of providing a trusting and a very safe space for us right from the word go. So I had already mentioned that I came to it like an idiot in coaching without knowing anything. And to an extent, of course, like when you spend a lot of time, having established yourself in another domain, you come to the class not wanting to cut a fool of yourself in front of the others who may have, an edge or some background in that. But right from the word go, it was absolutely a safe space to grow, and it was a very, very nurturing and conducive environment to learn and grow. And also, I think you brought together the cohort also very, very nicely. So we could also benefit from each other's experiences and exposures and learnings. So I think, extremely well done.